I think it's neat to think that New Zealand is playing such a leading role in places like Singapore. I noticed the results the other day on Friday up there in Singapore. The first 4 races were won by New Zealand trainers, not necessarily in this order. Laurie Laxon, Stephen Gray, Bruce Marsh and Mark Walker. Then Mark went on to win the last 2 races as well, and he's leading the premiership, and it's my pleasure to bring him to the program now. Mark, congratulations on a wonderful season you've been having.
Thanks very much, Des. Yeah, it's been terrific.
Fantastic to see. And I thought to myself the other day when I was looking at the wins, I think you got about a dozen. I think you've got a dozen in front, and so it's probably fair to say you can bring out the champagne now and celebrate the success.
Yeah, we only raced this weekend, Des, so yeah, we're well and truly home this season. Nobody can get us, so it's pretty relaxing last weekend of racing. Just enjoy it.
Let's not lose sight of the fact it's not an easy job up there. You're up against some very, very competitive people and business, as well as the people on the ground doing the training. So this must come down as a sense of absolute wonderful achievement by you and the team around you, Tiako and the like.
Oh, for sure. There's like Gus Clutterbuck and I would worked together for a long time now, and we were lucky enough to win 5 premierships at home, and now this is our first one together in Singapore, so that's been special. And obviously Dave and Karen do a great job putting a lot of syndicates together, Des, and we've worked out what works up here and what doesn't work, and we've got it down to a really fine art now. And the Tiako colours, they've won a lot of races this year. They're second on the owners' premiership here, and a lot of the owners just enjoy getting away for a break now and then, and especially mainly in the winter, and coming up to Singapore and enjoying the racing here. And you also got to remember, Des, that the maiden 3-year-olds here start racing for 75,000 Singapore, which with today's exchange rate is actually 80,000. So there's a lot of bonuses for owners involved up here.
Absolutely. Well, I often talk to Chris Waller about his progress through the ranks in Sydney and in Melbourne, and he often talks about the fact that he has the right systems in place, and these systems don't come in place without the hard work trying to actually do just that. And so you guys obviously have had a plan right from the word go. It was never going to be easy, but it has fallen into place for you guys because you've been ticking the right boxes.
It's been a lot of hard work. I arrived here 5 years ago with a young family, and Julie has been a massive help. It's been frustrating along the way at times. We arrived here, we only had 3 horses when we first arrived the first month here. So to build it up from that to win our first premiership and dominate throughout the year, it's been pretty satisfying, really.
Absolutely, and there's maybe a lot more to come. So in the situation that you're in up there, Mark, I mean, you just don't train for Tiako, do you?
No, I train for a lot of local owners. Like on Friday night, there's our 2 of the winners were one for a businessman from Macau, and another horse that won was for actually the richest man in Singapore, a guy called Mr. Ng. So a lot of different people. And then our 3rd winner was actually for Chris Rutten, who you'd know well. Chris had a horse here that won on Friday. He used to be called Touche at home, and he's called Our Touche up here.
Yeah, that's right. And for those of you who missed our Touche's win, and it is, I saw the horse the other day win. I thought, gee whiz, let's replay that race now. This is our Touche, folks, doing the business for Mark's team on Friday night.
At the top of the straight, Limbs Elusive, Guiltless came to the outside, and back and behind them, $2 Muppet into the stretch. Public Figure gave a kick. Limbs Sincere asked for its effort down the outside, begins to run on. Fragrance Empire between them finishes well. $2 Muppet begins to fly down the outside. It's Limbs Sincere going up with Public Figure and also Fragrance Empire. $2 Muppet, Lady Roulette diving through is Out to Shay. It's driven up there, Out to Shay, and gets up in a great finish. Out to Shay across the track for second. $2 Muppet.
Well, he was a very good horse in New Zealand too. We did see him active in the best 2-year-old races here in New Zealand too. When people are buying horses to go to Australia, Mark, they often say, and with justification too, we want to buy the staying type of horse to go to Australia because we can punch above our weight with the staying type of horse in Australia. But up in Singapore, it's basically anything and everything, isn't it, really, from the sprinters right up to the stayers?
Yeah, exactly. There's the New Zealand breds. They get here and they just settle in so well, and they're just very versatile horses. And you know, they win on the turf, they win on the poly track over all distances, and you can go to Karaka and like we've got a filly in this weekend called Lady Ifraj, and she cost John Galvin's Fortuna syndications. They paid $27,500, and she's been here and had a few placings, and she's already earned more than she cost back in state money. So it is very, very good for people racing here.
You get a chance to come back to New Zealand on a semi-regular basis, no doubt?
Yes, mainly for the sales, Des. But actually the family's coming back for Christmas. This will be the first time Xavier and Alexis have been back to New Zealand since we left. So, no, we're looking forward to all getting back home and meeting up with a lot of friends and family while we're there.
Okay, how long are you staying for?
We'll be home for a couple of weeks, Des. So, no, looking forward to it. Especially Boxing Day races. It'd be good to catch up with a lot of different people in the industry there as well.
Absolutely. And Mark, the children, they must, how old are they now?
Xavier's 9 and Alexis is 6. So they were pretty young when they left. The schooling up here, that's another huge advantage. It's just out of this world, the international schools here. So they can speak fluent Mandarin as well as English because they've sort of been brought up in that system now. So it's going to be, you know, a big plus for them later in life.
All right, they're probably going to teach you a thing or two in regard, being a multilingualist that you are. Are you or are you not?
There's no. Julia's pretty good, but I haven't picked up much, no.
Okay. And talking about the sales, I mean, it is a case you get pretty excited, don't you? Really, popping around when you do come out to New Zealand, seeing some of the yearlings as they get ready and they get ready for the big occasion, going through the sale ring, and of course David does his job and does an exceptional job too, sorting out the ones that he will be bidding on. That's an exciting time, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually spoke to Dave 5 minutes ago, Des, and he's actually at Blandford Lodge as we speak, inspecting yearlings. So it's a lot of hard work and a lot of time and effort and research goes into finding horses like Extravagant, etc. So he's out on the road virtually right now through to Christmas and then again after Christmas, inspecting all these yearlings. And it's a big job, but, you know, his record speaks for itself. Horses, you know, our latest star is Extravagant and Darcy Brahma, Princess Copes, all those sort of horses. You've got to have a good eye to find those types of horses, Des.
Yeah, absolutely, you do. So, you know, your situation that you're at the moment, you're right at the peak of your powers, Mark, as a trainer. Do you have your sights set even higher? I mean, while you're in Singapore and doing so well, one would imagine you'll be staying there for an indefinite period. But do you have maybe Hong Kong on the radar at any stage of your life?
You'd never say never, Des, but there's an old saying, happy wife, happy life, and Julie is very, very happy living in Singapore, and the children are as well. So as I say, Des, you'd never say never if the opportunity did arise, but we're pretty happy and content where we are now, Des.
Yeah, absolutely. All things are going exceedingly well. When you think about the season that's just gone, Mark, and we're really appreciating your time here and having this chat. When you think about the season that's gone, you had 4 winners on Friday night. Is that one of your best nights, 4 in a night?
We've had 4-timer earlier in the year, and we've had lots of trebles throughout the year. But the main thing is we've just been consistent the whole way through, Des. I don't think there's been many weekends gone by where we haven't won 1 or 2 races. We've just had a lot of consistent horses and a lot of support from a lot of different owners. My Lucky Strike that won on Friday night, as I say, he's owned by Mr. Ang, the richest man in Singapore. It's worth $12 billion US there, so he likes his racing and he's very good to train for. So he'll be buying at Karaka again, and we bought some horses for him last year.
That's fantastic, and so is it goes without saying. Once upon a time, I asked Laurie Laxon the question, I think halfway through, when he was about 5 or 6 years up in Singapore. He said, when I left New Zealand, he says, I had a $300,000 mortgage. He says, I couldn't see myself making too much progress. But after 5 years, of course, I was well and truly, that was a memory. I guess for you, it's been very influential as well there, Mark.
Oh, without a doubt, Des. We've virtually set the family up for life, being here for this 5 years, and it's pretty satisfying going home and seeing the operation Te Akau Stud, just the progress we've been able to make there as well. Very satisfying. It's just one of the most beautiful farms in New Zealand now, and we're continuing to add to it as time goes on, and there's a block up the back of it that Dave and I have bought that will be incorporated into the farm this year. So it's pretty exciting getting back and seeing the developments at Te Akau Stud, and there's just no better place to develop a young horse in the world, I believe, than Te Akau Stud.
So you're investing in bloodstock as well as horses back home too for the future. Have you got shares in stallions and the like?
Yeah, Dave and I are breeding out of quite a few mares now, so they go to various stallions, and I think this year we'll probably have 25 to 30 foals on the farm there. So then most of them just get broken in, and they go through the system at Matamata, and then we assess whether we race them in Singapore or New Zealand or Australia. And it's just great to see the New Zealand stable really going well too. Stephen and Jamie doing an outstanding job, and the stable's really had a terrific run, especially through the New Zealand Cup Carnival, and looking forward to seeing what they can do over the Ellerslie Carnival.
Absolutely, no doubt. You've watched the replay of Extravagant race once or twice. He looks something quite exceptional.
Yeah, it was a really freakish performance, Des. You'd have to say it's either one or two things. The runners behind him are either disappointing or he's just simply, going to be the next great horse. So hopefully he's the next great horse. But you never know till you really realise what the opposition's really like later in their careers. But the time that he ran and the way that he did it, you'd have to say he's the most exciting horse in New Zealand at the moment.
Who rides for you most of the time up there? Do you share it around?
We mainly use a Brazilian Des, a guy called Manuel Nunes, and we also had the champion apprentice here, Shafik Rusov. He's ridden for us, and he's now out of his time. But Shafik won the Gold Cup here the other day, and he was actually apprenticed to us in New Zealand. In my last season in New Zealand, Shafik was with us, and he came to Singapore with me from day one, and he's won champion apprentice here twice. So he's a very, very good rider, and obviously Nunes won the premiership again by quite a margin. So those are our main two riders, Des.
Did you have Joe Moreira riding for you much when he was riding there before he went to Hong Kong?
Yeah, we were lucky enough. The last season Joe rode here, he rode 43 winners for us, so we certainly used Joe. We virtually offered Joe everything, and we worked our riders around what he could and couldn't ride. And then he went to Hong Kong, and Nunes has come along, and we've developed a very strong relationship. And as I say, I think he's ridden 123 or 4 winners, and the next to him is Corey Brown on about 84, so he's been quite dominant this year, Nunes.
Is there a chance that someone like Matty Cameron could be up there before too long?
Oh, I'd say without a doubt he'll probably come up here and dip his toe in the water and do 3 or 4 month stints at some stage. The winters aren't much fun at home, Des, slogging around in the winter, are they? So a guy like Matty, if he applied, I'm sure they'd look to have him up here at some stage with the riding record that he's establishing now. He's certainly going very well.
Because it's not easy, is it, really? Because I've spoken to Lisa Allpress about it, and unfortunately she wasn't able to renew her contract up there. And she's a very good rider, as we all know. So it must be pretty tough.
Oh, exactly. And Lisa rode a lot of winners for us while she was here, and it was a shame she didn't get renewed because I think she was just starting to hit her scraps, and it was just unfortunate she was the bottom of the expat jockeys that particular year, not by much. And I think if she'd been able to stay here, she would have really been a factor here. But I do think, I still watch a lot of races at home, Des, and I think Lisa, you'd have to say her riding since she did that stint in Singapore and Japan, she's just gone to another level. She's a real force to be reckoned with in New Zealand. Her riding, she's in an outstanding form, I think.
Yeah, she did. She is. She had a bit of a fall the other day at Otaki, but bounced back on Saturday at Trentham and rode 2 winners. I think she had 3 rides on Saturday, but she rode 2 winners. She might have had 4 rides, but she had 2 winners, and she rode them exceptionally well too. But that's good that you're up there with other New Zealand trainers as well. And while you're all competitive, I suppose you're good mates off the field, and good to see the Kiwis going so well up there.
Well, Laurie's been the dominant force, hasn't he, for some time. It's quite incredible, the record he's achieved here. And I trained off Laurie's property for Sir Peter Bella, and it was really, I was at track work out at Mangatautri one morning, and Sir Peter sort of planted the seed in my brain about the idea of Singapore, and then Laurie, when he was at home during the summer, had a good chat to me as well, and that's how it all sort of started off, from a conversation with Sir Peter one morning at Mangatautri while we were watching track work there. So, but yeah, as I say, Laurie's record up here is second to none.
Yeah, absolutely, and yours is now right up there too, winning your first premiership. I think it's fantastic news, great for New Zealand, but great for you guys as well, and great for the hard work.